All right, it's like 10 seconds after the previous video. We had Patroclus leave to go on his expedition to reinforce Idomeneus's army, leaving Achilles with a small force and one captain only. I meant to mention a thing in the previous end of the previous video too, like in my little commentary after the story. Automedon had yoked the team of Xanthus and Balius, and I was about to say that Podarge too, the third horse, the trace horse, was with them. But at the last second, I remembered that he actually captures that from Eëtion's Thebe, so or Thebe, I don't know, from Eëtion's town, and so therefore he would not obviously have that horse yet. So I did avoid saying Podarge was in that team. So it's just the two of the two God-given horses. So I was kind of proud of that. That's another plot point we can try to fit in there. The big thing is going to be remembering to hit all of these plot points, but we'll see what happens. All right, so Patroclus left. Now Achilles is getting ready to go to raid or siege the town of Thebe, Eëtion's Thebe, or Thebe, Eëtion's town. Thus, when the son of Menoetius had set out, Achilles, the son of Peleus and Thetis, had addressed his men. That great captain Eumelus, or Euphorbus, the son of that Psychopomp Hermes, had his men in attendance, but 100 of the finest warriors that could be gathered, and Achilles took only a token force of 50, some spear throwers, a few slingers, and many doughty men, all of them, each one who had proven his mettle time and again in battle. All of these were raging and ready for fight, as each of them knew what lay before them in that town of Thebe. Phoenix, the great attendant and teacher, and that one who had given so many kind words of advice to all those who dwelt in Phthia and in Skyros. He had been captured by Eëtion. Somehow, they knew not how. Perhaps the gods had whisked him away, but they would burn the entire city to find him again. And thus, Achilles gave word to Automedon, that godlike charioteer, and he yoked the two god-born horses, Xanthus and Balius, to the chariot, picking up the gold at the gold rim and taking the reins, and Achilles stepped in with his armor God-given by Hephaestus, that was shining all in gold and bronze, the horsehair crest flashing and gleaming as he got into that godlike chariot, like one of the immortals he was, who was pulled by a team of two horses born not of the earth, but of the gods themselves, and he half-born of the deities, that one who would be foreseen to overtake his father, and who Zeus himself had only but nearly fathered on Thetis. But even as it was, a son of an Argonaut and a Nereid, of that immortal ocean he was, and the fury burned in his eyes, and all who glanced upon him looked away, for he had but one thought in his mind, taking that town. So he led forth his men, and they all went on the march in that 3-day journey to Thebe. Meanwhile, in Olympus, that daughter of Leto, who roamed the forests, She thought to warn those Thebans who had been so lax until now, who held that man-phoenix in their city, and who plowed the earth, and who prepared all the harvests, and thought not of anyone coming to raid their city, or of any attack that would come from outside, trusting in the strength of the 6 sons of Eëtion and Tecmessa, the warrior king and queen who ruled side by side. Thus, that daughter of Leto picked up her golden bow, and she took up all her well-fletched arrows, and they were attached behind her back, and they sat there like some child's toy, not needing any more thought, but ready to be grabbed at any time. She who could wield that terrible bow at a moment's notice. She took up her weapons and put on her tunic and went to the forests outside of Thebe. There, plying the earth, was one of the sons of Eëtion, that glorious Alcon, who was one of Eëtion's sons that was especially skilled in the spear. He, who was not thinking of the fight, was plying the earth and tilling his land that he kept outside the city to gather his income, and his attendants stood in the various fields and tilled their own land. But he, a just man, Alcon, who always thought of equality in all things, he tilled the land along with them, working the earth and doing service to the goddess Demeter, sharing in her grain and always offering her the first fruits of all he brought in. But dearly loved was he by that goddess of this golden bow. She came down and took the form of one of his attendants, Crethon, who was a wise old sage that was able to read the entrails of birds and the flights of birds as they flew over on the right or the left. Many a good piece of counsel he had offered to the city, but silent had he been for many a day and week and month, as the harvests came in, and no great fear was there on the city. And this Crethon said, Alcon, I see you tilling the earth. I know that you are an honorable one. But where is the honor in tending your own house when all the ruin of enemies and fire and death are approaching fast and hard by? Yea, there is a force coming from the Achaeans who are perched on the beach of Troy like some vulture looking to pick off carrion that they find unwitting and weak and ready to die. Such is your city, though you may not know it yet. Achilles, the son of Peleus and Thetis, god-born, he comes with a force to be reckoned with. Do not underestimate it. For though you may think that it is but a slight army, you will be hard-pressed in a fight against even a single one of them. Thus, take up arms, get the city prepared, and do not let them come at you unawares. Make no mistake, the city of Thebe is under great threat, and this coming days will decide the fate of your city. So go to your father and your mother, and help the city to prepare. Do not think of your land now. There will be nothing left if they sack the city, and you will not have a living to go back to, nor will your life likely be with yourself anymore, but will be under the earth in that great hall of Tartarus in the house of Hades. Thus she disappeared as she turned, and Alcon knew her to be a god. He saw those ankles and the backs of her legs as she went, and disappearing behind into the forest, he did not see her wisp away into a flash of smoke, but that was enough to know that this had been no ordinary message. He rushed forward into the city of Thebe to warn all the people there of the coming doom. But it would not be enough to save them. All right. Still a little stilted on the not adding enough interesting flavor text, I guess you'd call it. There's one son of Eëtion who is named in like the traditional text, but I can't remember what his name is, so I guess I'll probably just come up with names for all of them. I want to say there's 6 sons. I also don't even remember that. I came up with this thing that Artemis is like protecting the city. I don't know necessarily why. There doesn't really need to be a reason why, but you know, it's on the side of the Trojans, so that could be enough. Maybe it's in the woods, so she like favors the city because it's like they're great hunters or something. Well, we'll figure something out. I also just started developing this character of like Alcon, who's like one of the sons of Eëtion. I guess it was kind of, there's some interesting opportunities for that because, you know, he could be kind of like more of a like an honorable character, not like a Hector necessarily, but you know, it's not like the interesting thing about the Iliad is that none of the characters are necessarily like, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. So it was kind of an interesting idea to see him like tilling the land along with his servants. And they do mention that in the Iliad at one point, that like, I think that all of the sons of Eëtion were like tilling the land when Achilles took them unawares. But I had it where, you know, they get warned and the city prepares for war. I don't think I ever mentioned that I came up with the character of the Queen Tecmessa, which I'm pretty sure is the, actually I know that that's the name of the, not wife, but like the lady that Ajax took as a war prize, the giant Ajax, Salaminian Ajax. And maybe I'll say that she was, this is that Tecmessa, that he took her, or Achilles gave her to him from Thebe. But I wanted to have a warrior queen because Queen Maeve is such an interesting character in the Irish legend that I'm basing this off of loosely. And so I just kind of created this thing where she's like Amazon raised, but is like rules alongside and commands the armies alongside Eëtion. So I think that's an interesting kind of like wrinkle in the story, and it could fit in pretty well with the rest of the stuff if that becomes the same Tecmessa that's Ajax's war prize. So otherwise, there's not that much going on. It's still pretty like just the facts where, you know, it's like Artemis wants to protect Thebes, so she does it, and Achilles, you know, is getting ready to go, and he goes. But there's not. There was a nice little argument among the gods a couple episodes ago, but even then, I got to slow down. I think I have to add more like flavor to it, I guess you'd call it, like more Homeric similes and stuff. So, well, you know, they can't all be winners with these, and it's my first time trying to come up with an entirely new thing in this paradigm of Homeric stuff. So, you know, I guess I could be forgiven to some extent for having it be a little stilted and bare bones, but I think we can do better. So we'll see how that goes.